Rama Rama Pupoda. Hope all are in good health, happy, having a peaceful life, feeling very relaxed. Now let's go to chapter 4 towards Gokarn. Gokarn. First part Institution, a bondage. On a moonlit night at about 3 o'clock in the morning, Ramdas and Ramcharan Das left Mangalore. Ramdas walked at a brisk pace with Ramcharan Das close at his heels. They passed through many villages and at midday made a halt in the vicinity of a few thatched huts underneath a grove of coconut trees. There was a well close by. Ramcharan Das prepared some khichdi. After finishing meals, they rested for about 2 hours in the cool shade of the trees. Then they prosecuted their journey. In the evening, they arrived at the Mosfosil town, Mulki, where Ramcharan Das escorted Ramdas to the house of one of his relations. They lodged for the night with the friends who were very hospitable. Ramcharan Das' aunt, who was there, dissuaded him from going with Ramdas. They presented to him in lurid colors the discomforts and difficulties of a sadhu's life, but they could not induce him to change his mind. Next day, at dawn, they proceeded on their travel and reached Udupi, where they put up for the night with Srinivasa Rao, Ramdas' younger brother by the former life. Leaving Udupi the next morning, they came to Kalyanpur at midday, where they were welcomed with great joy by a bhakta. They proceeded onward from early dawn to 11 a.m. and then from 3 p.m. until dark. They tramped on day after day. At Kundapur, they halted at the dispensary of Rama Bachi, a friend of Umanath Rao, who had shuffled off his mortal coil a few months before their visit. Crossing the Gangoli ferry, they came at noon to a hamlet called Kirimanjeswar. Here they stopped near a Shiva temple. On the bank of a large tank in which they bathed, they refreshed themselves with food cooked by the ever-willing Ramcharan Das. The scenery of the place was charming. The place was close to the sea. The roar of the rolling waves could be heard at a short distance. The land was covered with an extensive forest bounded by hills. Tradition has it that the spot was sanctified in ancient days by the austerities of Agastya Muni, so that part of the village bears the name of Agastya Muni Ashram. The pujaris of the temple declared that the water of the tank possessed wonderful virtues. The water was indeed pure and sweet, in spite of the washing and bathing for which it was used by the villagers. Ramdas was greatly captivated by the singular fascination of this place. After resting for some time, they started again. They passed through Bayando and Batkal and reached Shirali. Here, Ramcharan Das proposed to visit the famous Saraswat Chitrapo Math. It was God's will that Ramdas should only wait in the jungle outside the Math buildings, while Ramcharan Das entered the Math. After a while, he returned with Bhiksha. Chitrapur Math is a religious institution belonging to the enterprising and intelligent Saraswat community, in which Ramdas had his old birth. The religious head or guru of the community had his headquarters in Chitrapur. The present head of the Math is a young man of great purity, character and spirit. Ramdas had a good fortune of having his darshan in the Kasaragod ashram. The late Guru was conservative in his methods of control over the community, but he was a great tapasvi. His successor, the present Swami, possesses a broad outlook and has relaxed the stringent rules of the previous regime. No institution can justify its existence if it does not keep abreast of the changing times. Evolution is the law of life, and change is its keynote. While stagnation means deterioration and misery, progress denotes freedom and happiness. The former stands for discord and chaos, and the latter for harmony and peace. Religion points to the vision of God, the supreme liberation and bliss born of the immortal. This vision is not circumscribed by tradition and doctrine because it transcends all limitations. The rules of life should be so set and adjusted that they might admit of being outgrown when the keen hunger of the soul seeks utter freedom in God. If this truth is ignored, life becomes a complex tangle in which the soul is caught, enchained, and helpless, hopelessly struggling to be free from the net of its own making. The seed must have a ground so prepared that it might break through the soil and spring out into growth. Also, favorable conditions have to be provided for the plant to evolve into a tree, then into flowers and last fruits. It must not be forgotten that the fruit is the consummation of the seed. So, an institution is the garden where every facility for the cultivation of soul in its march towards its fruition is provided, so that the soul might ultimately transcend the institution for the higher, true, and complete vision of life. Just as the tree outgrows its fence and spreads its branches freely in the air, or as the pupil outgrows the school life for that of the world, else an institution becomes at once an organized bondage and an incubus that wrap and crush the healthy evolution of life to its destined goal of freedom and joy. Ramcharan Das and Ramdas marched onward. Talk between them was scarce. Ramdas exhorted the boy to keep on uttering the Ram mantra. After some halts on the way, they at last reached Gokarn. That's all, folks. Let's see in the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Puppodu.